So the first part in any data work is data preparation, okay? And in preparing your data, preparing data is divided into two parts. The part where you get the data from the source, and we have different sources that we could get data from. And we get data into Power BI using either this Get Data button here. If you click the drop down, we can see there's quite a lot of options. You know, we can get from Excel, workbook, Power BI data set itself, data flow. So it depends on where your data or what your data is about and where you want to get it from. And there's a more button here, you know, where you have even more options. If you're getting from a file, from, you know, this gives us all the options, you know, if you are getting from text file, XML, JSON, a folder, and so on and so forth. From file has these few options. From file would be you've got an Excel workbook in your machine, or a text CSV file, or any of these formats, even a folder or a PDF, you know, or a SharePoint folder, you know, it could be that. A database. So from a database, this would be most of the time SQL is the most, SQL is the most common one. But we've got Oracle. I use Oracle database at work, and different ones. Again, it depends on what you do at work, or whichever one. So whichever one that you need to get, whichever source that you need to get the data from, the options are there. Power Platform, Azure Online Services, you know, and there are others as well. Data feed.
Hello.
Yes.
Are you familiar with the Power Platform, Power Automate, and the rest as well?
No, not yet. No.
Okay.
I've not carried myself there at all.
No problem.
Yeah, but I believe Power BI is one of the. I was gonna say, I believe Power BI is one of, you know, the components.
Yes. I'll share a resource with you.
Okay.
There was a brief this thing with, you know, on the Power Platform, but it was very, very brief, you know, the things you can do with it and all that. But,
right.
We'll talk about the PL300. Yeah, I just wanted to be there.
Right.
No problem. I'm listening.
All right. So today I'm thinking we should get data from a folder, you know, and if I come here and I say that we want to get data from the folder, you know, which is this. If I choose this and I say connect, you know, it's asking me for a folder path, you know, which I can either browse to get, or I can go into the folder itself and copy the path of it. Okay. So what I would normally do, I want to get this folder, which yeah. So what I will right click on it. And in right clicking on it, it says copy as path. So I will copy the path of it, and then I'll come back to my Power BI where it says folder path, and I'm just gonna paste it there, you know. But it's not it's not copying it right, because that's saying no. Let's see what's, I'm sure there's something I need to amend in this. So it's getting it from my C drive under users. No. So even I can see that this path is not what I normally get for my path. Okay. So how about I go and browse then? Let me browse it. So it's in my desktop, and it's this folder I want to get. Okay. So I see, I do, okay. So let's see, what's the difference between what was done before and this, okay? So I'm just gonna erase that, you know, and paste again. So let's look at this. Let's look at this very critically, because we are going to look at the difference, so that just so when that happens again, we can easily amend, you know, what it is that's different. So I believe you've seen this very well. I'm just going to take it off, you know, and then go browse, and I'm on desktop, and it's this folder, and I'm bringing it in. Did we notice any difference in what it has copied for both scenarios? Look at this. I see the double quotes there on both ends, you know, and I see column backslash users and all of that within this double quotes, okay? But that is not working. So I'm now going on to browse, okay? And I'm saying it's in desktop, and it's this. And it's gotten it as this. What difference can we notice? Do we notice any difference at all in what has been copied? Oh, hello, am I still here?
Yes, you are.
Did I get booted out at some point?
No, no, no. You can still see, but just seeing open Zoom link.
Okay. Also, I think something happened with the network, and
Ah,
um,
okay.
I
We're
came
seeing
across.
open Zoom link. Yeah, that's what we're seeing.
Okay. All right. So we can see the Power BI now.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So I was saying that when I copied the path and put it in, it's throwing up this error. Okay. I want us to look at this link very well, very critically, because one of the attributes of somebody who works with data is very keen attention to details. You know, we have to be very attentive to details. Every little detail matters, you know. So let's look at this. And then if I take that out, if I now go on browse, we want to see what is actually copied. And this is what it copied. This is what it wants. Okay. What's the difference between when I copy the path and this that it's accepting as the right way to do it?
Sister Debbie,
Yes.
sorry, can you help us open maybe Word documents and copy both side by side so that we can see the differences, please?
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was just thinking of that when that it would help better to put them side by side. So if we do Notepad, and so this, okay, so I've got this at the top and I've got this at the bottom. So this is the one it wants. This was the copy path I did that it's not liking. What difference do we notice? Can we see both?
Yes, we can. I'm trying to see what the difference is.
Yeah.
Quote. Is it? Can it be the quote?
It is. It's
Is it the
actually is
quotation
the
mark?
quote.
Is it the quotation mark?
Hello?
Is it the quotation mark?
It is. It is.
Oh, just the quotation mark.
It's just the quotation marks that doesn't work.
All right.
So if I had come
Yeah.
here, still pasted it the way I did it before, and just remove, those quotation marks, it'll be fine. And I just thought for us to see that, because we do things in different ways. So if we don't come to browse and we copy as path and we see that it's not working, we'll see the reason why it didn't work and we can correct it. So that's why I was trying to sort of stay a bit longer on that part. So I'm going to okay that now. Our path is fine. And now we have this. It's brought in the 3 files that are within that folder, because that's what I've got, this leeds.csv, liverpool.csv, and manchester.csv. Those are the 3 files within that same folder. Okay, now, if we look at this, at the bottom here, it's asking, do I want to combine it? Do I want to load it? Do I want to transform data? Or do I want to cancel this process? If I just wanted to combine all of them and that's it, I'll just combine. If I'm fine with the way it is, I'm just going to load it. But it's always recommended to take your data through transform, just so you can see if there is any sort of cleaning that you need to do on it, because this is where you can do that. Okay. So we've brought in append task, which is the name of the folder. Okay. And this is what it has brought in for us, So it's saying contents. This is the contents. Most of the columns here are jargon to me, to be honest. What I'm more than concerned with is the name of the file, the names of the file, the type of the file that it is. Okay, the date that it was accessed, which is yesterday that I accessed it. The date it was modified was yesterday. The date created, is saying it was created in August. That cannot be right, Anyway, attributes, folder path, and it's bringing the path, through which it created it. Okay. Now, the way I would have wanted, because the activity I want to show us today is what we call append. Like, how do we combine different folders that have the same structure? How do we put them together within Power BI? That's the idea behind today's class. But let's see, if I open the content here, if I expand this. So it's showing me the sample of what it would look like if I expand that content. Okay. So Joseph Fisher. So this is what I'm going to be seeing, just a preview of what I'm going to be seeing. Okay. And if I okay that, let's see what we get. So it's gone on to carry out all these different tasks, which we don't have to really bother ourselves about. We brought it in from the source, then we expanded that contents column, and it's gone on to do all these functions, you know, on it. And that's just the intelligence of Power BI. And what it's done is it's combined all of the folders. You know, there's 3 of them, all of the files. I keep saying folder. It's combined all of the files, Leeds.csv, Liverpool.csv, and Manchester.csv. Okay, so that is one shortcut to combine all of the files that are within one folder. You know, I brought it through Transform, like I said, so that we can look into if there's any errors, if we need to remove any part of the data or add on to it according to whatever the parameter could be. But yeah, this is one way to append in code, you know, because we haven't really used this function. We just combined, we just brought everything in and expanded that the content column. Okay, the way I would have loved to show this, which we can still do, is if I go back into here, into this append task, I want to extract out, I want these, the 3 of them to not be in a folder. You know, I want to bring them in as individuals. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this.
I'm in a meeting.
And then I'll put it in, still in desktop. I'm just going to paste that in desktop. Okay, so now we have Liverpool, we have Liverpool. Did I put it in downloads? I wanted it in desktop and I've put it in downloads. Let me see. Okay, it's there already. So I'm gonna close that. All right. So we know it's Leeds, Liverpool, Leeds, Liverpool, and Manchester. Okay. So I'm still going to use the same Power BI that we are using. Okay. So again, I want to get data. Let me hide this. Okay. Now it's going to be, I mean, since I'm getting an Excel workbook, I could come here. Okay. I could come here, you know, to get the Excel workbook, or I could come here. But let's not forget that it's not even an Excel workbook. You're saying it's a CSV file. Okay. So if I click on Excel, you won't necessarily find it because it's on. Let's try that, because what I'm looking for is not Excel. Okay. So it's going to be looking for this .excel, .xlsx, or, you know, all of these ones here. In desktop, I want. So Leeds, yeah, it's not finding Leeds, Liverpool, and Manchester because they are not Excel files. These are the Excel files, you know, the ones with X on them are the Excel files that are in this folder. Okay, so I'm going to cancel that. And because I know it's a CSV file, I'm going to use text CSV instead. Okay, so text CSV. And if we come to desktop, I'm very sure we will now see Liverpool. Yeah, we'll see we now have Leeds, Liverpool, and Manchester. You know, and the funny thing is they also have X, but they have XA. I'll open that at some points to actually show us the difference between the two. Okay. So I'll bring Leeds in first. Okay, and I'll take it to transform because so we've got Leeds in, and this is what Leeds has got. Leeds has name, the data claimed, the amount, the date claimed, sorry, the amount, and the category. You know, this looks like some expense folder or file, you know, of what people claimed, how much they claimed, And
5 minutes is that.
huh?
Hey, sorry, not you. I was talking to my baby. Sorry.
Okay. and the what they claimed those amounts for. Okay, so I'm going to go back because I need to get Liverpool and Manchester in as well. Okay, and because it's a recent source, where I got leads from is where I'm still going to get the other ones from. Okay, I can always say go to my recent sources, you know, and when I clicked on recent sources, okay, it's giving me leads. Okay, no, I don't want these ones. Okay, so let's do a new source for it. New source is text CSV still in desktop, and we've brought leads in. So it's now Liverpool that I want to bring in, you know. And now we've got Liverpool in this form. So if we compare the two, this is where we are going with append. Append is what we want to do now. Look at, let's see if the data structure are the same. I've got name as the first one. I've got date claimed, you know, as the second one here. Description here. I've got amount as the last here, amount as the third here, and category, which it calls description here. Okay, let me bring it in and see if it retains that sort of structure or not. Okay, so look at leads. Leads have name, date claimed, amount, and category. That's the order that they are in. But Liverpool has name, description, date, and amount. Okay, let me bring the third one.
Sorry, is that as a result of how the data is?
Yes, this is how the data was stored.
So it's now for us to transform it into how we want it to match, is it?
Yes, that's right. Because what we want to do on it is append. Append means we want to join leads to Liverpool, and we want them to join from top to bottom, not from right to left. Okay, top to bottom is leads is on top, and I want to match or join everything in Liverpool to where leads end, basically. So where leads end here, let's say leads end here, I want Liverpool, all the data in Liverpool to then carry on from the next line and down. So what that tells me is leads and Liverpool must have name, date claimed, amount, and category. They must have it all aligned the same way, if I'm joining them like that.
Mr. Levy.
Yes.
Can I have, so if we put that Liverpool under lead,
Yeah.
how are we going to differentiate if we need any data from any of the city?
Let's see how that question is going to be answered.
All right, thank you.
Yes, let's practicalize what you just said now. Okay. First and foremost, see, their data structure is not aligning. Let me try and append and see, we will see what will happen, you know. So name is here, description is here, date is here, amount is here. That's what I have for Liverpool. And leads is saying name first, then date, then amount, then category. Okay, so I'm going to click on any one of them actually. So I'll click on leads. Under home, you know how we've done merge queries a few times. This time we are doing append queries, you know. We can quickly check the meaning of append in the dictionary or Google, just so we understand exactly what this query, what we're about to do. Okay, while we check that, append queries, if I click on the down arrow there, the drop down arrow, I've got two options. I append the queries together and the two of them become one, that's append queries. Or I append the queries and we have a third one, which combines the two of them. So we will still have leads, we'll still have Liverpool, but we'll have a third one that combines both of them. Just so we can see, what we are trying to show. Let me append it as new so we can compare. Okay, so because I chose Leeds first, we got Leeds there. That's the first table. And it's saying append concatenates, that is combine rows from tables into a single table. Combines rows from two tables into a single table. That is going to combine the rows in Leeds and the rows of Liverpool to become one table. That's what it's going to do. So my second table is Liverpool. It's bringing me all the options that I've got that I can choose from. But Liverpool is what I want. So I say Liverpool, and I want to OK that. Okay, so, and it's brought it as Append 1, I believe. Yes, it's brought it as Append 1 because I didn't give it a name. Okay, so let's look at what is happening here. So I've got, let's look at this profile, this data profile, the information we are getting about the column quality, Here is saying that we've got 100% valid here because both of them have name as first column anyway. So name matches name, basically. So this column has no problem. Okay. Then we go on to number 2 is date claimed. Okay. And he's saying only 53% is valid and 47% is empty. Why is that? Let's look at it. What is the number 2 on Leeds? Date claimed. But what is the number 2 on Liverpool? Description. So the data on number 2 here is not matching the data of number 2 here. Hence, there's a problem. Okay. Then number 3 is saying amount. Valid, there's 100% valid, 0% error, and 0% error. Okay. I'm just gonna check for any nulls because null is still valid for numbers, Okay. There's no nulls. Okay. So let's see why there's no problem with this column. What's number 3 on here? Amount, which is number. And what's number 3 on here? Dates, So, and if we, look through, it's chosen amount. But under here, I'm very sure that it has combined, no, it hasn't combined date, which is actually, it didn't combine the date. It went and put dates in another column. Okay. So rather than have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's given us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. Okay, so where it hasn't found where they match, it created a new column for the other one. For example, here, date claimed was supposed to match with description. Okay, because date claimed here is number 2. I think we've done date claimed. Yeah, date claimed here is number 2. Description is number 2. So rather, because it can't combine both of them, it went on to put description in a new column, and that's why we have the top bit all null and the top bit all null for this one. And that's not what we want to really get with this data at all. We want all our 4 columns and everything combined. That is what append is about, Let's keep perusing this. Then number 3 here is amount. And number 3 here is dates. So again, that did not match here. Okay, and that's why we have the only column that's right here is the column where number 1, the positions and the names match. The data types also match. Okay, so that's why before we can talk of appending any 2 tables or 3 tables, we must ensure that they have the same data type, the same data structure in terms of how the columns are arranged. Okay, so I'm going to delete this, because like I said, this what we have here is not what we intended. I just wanted us to see what could happen and for us to see the meaning of append, you know. And I think we'll do something that would differentiate between margin queries and appending queries as well. Okay, so let's now say that name is number 1 here. Name is also number 1 here. Date claimed is number 2 here. How about I bring my date claimed here to number 2, I reorder it. And immediately I did that, it's added a new step. It says reordered columns. And look at the formula that it's using, you know, on the M language, the formula by the M query is using, it's saying equals table dot reorder columns. And how we read that is table dot reorder column. That's the formula I'm using. And I'm reordering the last step, which is changed type, the last step that was done. And what I'm doing, comma, the name, which is the first column. Now I've got date. Now I've got description. Now I've got amount. Okay. So that's how to read. It's good to know how to read your M language. You don't have to necessarily know how to write it, but understand the logic, you know, that is behind it. Okay. So I've done that. So we now have name and date.
Which one is M language? What's the difference between M language and DAX?
M language is the one used inside Power Query.
Ah, okay. Then DAX
is the one inside Power
BI
itself. Yes.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
So that's the formula, really.
Yes.
In Power Query. Oh,
that's right. For DAX, it's good that we know how to write it. For M language, it's good that we understand how it works, so we can manipulate it around. You know, nobody will ask us to go and write it ourselves. The system generates it itself, you know, and it records the step, you know, each time you have done something. Okay. Now, our number 3 column here is amount.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And our number 3 column here should be amount as well. So we are going to drag this way again, you know, and it's dragged the amount to number 3, and it's still using that table dot reorder columns, you know, and it's saying that now we have name, date, amount, and description. Okay. The other thing I will check is, do they all have the same data type? So I've got ABC here, I've got date here, I've got decimal number here, and I've got ABC there. Let me see if that's the same thing here. So ABC, date, decimal number, ABC, that works well. Okay, now these 2 are ready to be appended. That is, it is time for us to join Leeds to Liverpool. Leeds being on top, Liverpool being below. Okay, let's see how that works. And let's see if the question Sister Eunice asked is going to be answered on here. If you want Liverpool on top, I'll choose Liverpool first. Okay, but Leeds is fine. So under home, we've got append, and I'm going to append it as new so that we can compare. And it brings that dialog box again. We are appending 2 tables. We've picked Leeds already, and our second table is Liverpool. Okay, and I will say, okay, let's okay that. Okay, now we've got name, we've got date claimed, we've got amount, we've got category, date, description. I don't know why it's bringing 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's still bringing 6. It should be bringing 4, because they are all arranged the same way now. 1.2 category. Okay, the names. Okay, sorry, my mistake. Okay, now, and I'm glad these mistakes are happening. The name here is name, right? Date claimed, amount, category. Now the name here is name, date, amount, description. Mind you, we have date claimed here, so it's still not wanting to combine them, thinking they are not the same, because this is date claimed and this is dates. So it's putting those two in separate columns, date claimed and dates. And the same thing goes for description. It's putting description and category not in the same column because it sees that their namings are different, you know. So we are going to need to choose one. Should we put category or description for this, or should we use date claimed or date? They've got to match. What should we do?
Let's use date claimed. I think it's more explanatory than
Yes. Okay.
Categories. Okay. Description, nothing big. So at least the category gives us an idea of, well, we can pick anyone in that one. So
yeah, okay. So date claimed, I just want to see that date claimed is the same. Yeah, it's the same that I've spelled it. Date claimed amount. Then we should put category here. Okay. All right. So I think we are conforming now. Name, date claimed amount, category. Name, date claimed amount, category. And then I'm just going to, oh, it's even corrected it actually. Okay. You see? And this is why the operations in Power BI is automatic. You know, immediately I made the corrections here. It came to the append that we've done already. And it just, you know, it just corrected itself straight away because it can see there's a correlation now. Okay. So in this one, we've got, if we look at the bottom, it says 4 columns, 525 rows. And in the second one, we've got 4 columns, 548 rows. So it's this append 1 is now combining the two, such that in append 1, we've got 4 columns and 999 plus rows, because it's going to show us only the top 1,000 rows on here until it takes it to Power BI. Okay, so appending brings about more rows, but merge brings about more columns. Okay, that's the difference between those two operations. Let me see if we can do a merge as well. If those two are the only two we are able to see today, then I think we should be happy, because they are very important aspects or operations within Power Query. Okay, so I want to do merge now. As a matter of fact, before we go on to merge, let's bring in the third, because there's 3 of them, Liverpool, Leeds, and there's Manchester. Let's bring in Manchester as well. And it's a text CSV. And I'm coming here and I'm typing Manchester. Yeah. So I bring that in. Okay, and I'm going to okay that. So now we've got Manchester in. Okay, and Manchester is saying claimed by, date claimed, date paid, amount, and category. Okay, now we've got two tables appended already. We just want to append this append 1 to Manchester. From what we've done so far, what should be our first step in trying to append these two together now? You know, what should be our...
We go to the append queries. Am I right?
Should we go straight to the append queries, or we combine the two? We compare, rather, not combine. We compare.
Yeah, we compare first. Yeah.
To see that to see if they are appendable. So if I change it to leads, or leave leads, whichever, so that we know that those are actually combined. Leave leads. Okay, so okay. So we've got name as number 1, But we can see that this is name, but it's called claimed by. So we can change that straight away to name, because name is more conventional than claimed by. And then we've got date claimed, and this is also date claimed, and the data type are matching, so I'm fine with that. Now we've got amount as number 3, and amount is not number 3 here. In fact, here we got both amounts. Okay, so I'm going to reorder and bring amount to there, you know. So I'll put amount here so that we have those first 3 conforming already. Okay, then here category. It's also called category here, which is a good thing, but it needs to come to the 4th column. Okay, and then we have date page. So this has an extra column. Okay, now we've got 2 options. An option of asking the business, should we remove the date page here? Because we can't remove any data without the consent of the business. But if they still want to see this date page for Manchester, it means it's going to be null for leave leads, because we didn't have date page for leave leads. Okay, so this date page is going to be a null column for the first table, but it's going to be have data, this data for Manchester. Okay, I would go with, because it's not good to throw away data, I would go with let's leave it combined, as long as we know that our first 4, which is common to both, are going to conform anyway. You know, we should be fine. Okay, so I'm going to choose this first, leave leads, and under home. Okay, let somebody talk me through what I'm doing now.
Sorry, what did you say? My baby was distracted. What? Let somebody work.
Talk me through how I'm appending leave leads and Manchester now. I want to append it.
You append queries at the top.
Okay. Yeah, append queries. I want to append it as new so that we can see. We don't have to always do it as new, but just because we are comparing what's happening, you know, and it's leave leads that we are comparing it, we're appending it with. So we say, okay.
Oh, you append leave leads and leave leads.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me. Actually, we can go back into the step. Okay, so if we go back into the second table, should be Manchester. Thank you for spotting that. Okay, okay. And this is what I was saying. The top bit, which is leave leads, didn't have date paid. And so it's all null. Okay, and Manchester, and this is saying 100% empty. So it's not bringing in the dates. Oh, it is actually. So that was wrong. So we've got some dates, okay, which came from dates page that was in Manchester, okay, but we've got a lot of nulls, you know, and those nulls came from leave leads, which did not have a date page column, okay. And if this date page column is cogent to our report, then it will be necessary to leave it in. If it's not, then it's better to remove it. You know, so this profiling is not right because it's not 100% empty. We've got, let me put, yeah, it's not 100% empty. We can see ourselves here that we've got some dates in, and it's been seen as dates. So I don't know why it's saying 100% empty. Oh, I see. The percentage of it that is empty is just rounded it up to 100 to, you get what I mean? The percentage that's empty is far more than the percentage that is occupied. Because remember when we did leave leads, we had almost 1,000 rows, and we are just bringing a few rows to Manchester. So it's just a few rows that's got date in it, and that's why it's seeing it as that. So I'm thinking it would be really very small percentage compared to, it's not up to a third at all. That's why it's saying it as 100% empty. That's the best explanation that fits that scenario, really. But it should be able to give us some kind of percentage, maybe 0.001, you know, that sort of thing, so that it's not rounded the way it's rounded here. Okay. And we can rename this, double click or rename from these points. We can say leave leads.
Maybe because stop now. What is it? Well, it's okay. Sorry, don't mind that. Sorry. Could it be because Power Query? What did you take from her now? Give it to her. Yeah. Give it to her. Sorry, Jerry. Could it be because as mother you have to be referee up and down? Could it be because Power Query works with the first 1,000 rows?
I think so. Actually, that's a very
so
good
maybe
point.
chances are that if Manchester was at the top of leads,
it would
pick it up. But because you can see it's saying 1,000 empty.
Yes.
So yes. So because Manchester is probably after 1,000, it won't take.
It didn't pick those ones. I like that.
It won't pick those ones.
Yes, that's perfectly correct, actually. Because in Power Query, we are seeing just the top 1,000.
That white.
Yes.
Under that. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. Yes. That's the reason, actually. Okay. And I'm coming back to leads now. You know, one other really great thing that's good with this Power BI Power Query scenario is if I go back to the source, right, and I decide to, you know how we have 525 rows, and for leads, I decide to go into my source. Maybe I'm just updating, you know, let me copy some names, you know, let me copy some names from, actually, let me do it from here so that we'll see how it works from the source. Okay, so let's say I'm opening leads, which we know has 525, you know, rows. Okay, so and I'm deciding to add more. Let me add more from it itself. So, and I'm deciding to say, okay, let me just copy the first 100 rows and add it to the bottom. You know, so I'm copying this first, Control-C that, okay. Then I'm coming to the bottom and adding that piece of what I've just copied. You know, I'm adding that in here now, okay. And that will take me to 600 and something, won't it? Yeah, so I'm going to save this. So I've saved that file now. And I'll close it. Okay, so if I come back to my Power BI, you know we've got 525, okay? So what will happen is, by the time I bring these in, and whatever other works I've done inside leads, what would happen is those extra 100 rows that I've added on from the source, you know, it would completely get, you know, added on here as well. Okay, so let me refresh. Can you see? I'm still on leads, and see from 525 it's increased it to 624 rows. You know, so the more data.
So it has traced it back to where the source was coming from.
Exactly. And that is why I must not change that source. If I change the source, I must come back here and change my source as well, so that I can still be communicating directly with the source. Had it been that we have built a whole report and we've done charts and everything, and all of that data gets added, it would automatically operate update all of the reports as well within just a click of refresh, or just a click of the button. So the beauty of Power Query, using Power Query to do your work, is the first time you do it is where the hard work is. The next time any more data is coming in, the steps that you have done just get automatically done. And that's the power of automation. You know, so whether I'm working in Excel or Power BI, I would love to take my work through Power Query in both scenarios, just because of that powerful, that powerful automatic, update that it's got. Okay, so append margin. Give me just a minute, please. Let me quickly check what I'm doing and off the cooker. Sorry about that. Okay. Margin queries. Do we understand how this append works properly?
Yes.
Okay.
At least it's recorded, so we can always still go back to practice.
Yes, that's right.
So I think that's the most important thing. By the time you do it,
It will click. That's right. And for us to append, we've done append. For us to merge now. Merge is, you know how append is, we've been joining by rows, top to bottom. Merge is, we are joining from left to right. That is, we are joining the columns now. We are not joining the rows. We are joining. So the columns from Liverpool will add on the right-hand side. Okay, let's practice that. So I'm clicking on leads and I'm saying merge. I'm going to merge as new. We don't have to always merge as new, but just so we can compare results is why I'm merging as new. So I'm going to merge as new. And for you to be able to merge two tables rather, there must be a common column between them that is unique. This is always the requirement. You know how for append, the requirement was the data structures must be aligned the same way. The columns must be aligned the same way. Name must be where the other one's name is. Date must be where the other one's date name. That is the condition for append. But for merging, the condition is that there must be a meeting ground, a common column between them that can help them to interact. Okay, so say I want to merge with Liverpool now. Okay, so already I can see, and the best case scenario is that the column you are merging on must be unique. Most of the time it's best to do it on something like ID, which is always unique, or emails. Emails are always very unique as well, So names, sometimes you have two people bearing the same name. And then Power Query starts to think, which Joseph Fisher should I give entertainment or public transport to? That creates some sort of confusion, So best bet is always use a column that is unique and that is common to both. In this case, we'll just go with name. I know that name is not necessarily unique, but it will do for this scenario that we are trying to paint. So I've clicked those two because they are common. There's quite a lot of common, but just for the purpose of showing example. And then under there, we've got join kind. That is, what type of relationship are we talking about? We've got left outer, and it explains that all from the first comma, matching from the second, okay? And it's gone on to say that this selection matches 0 of 624 rows from the first table. It should be matching the same number, actually. It should be telling me 624 rows matches 624 rows, okay? That's what it should be doing. But like I said, this name and name are not necessarily unique, okay? Let's look at other types of join. The left table is always considered the first one that you picked. For example, leads, in this case, is my left table, is the first table, okay? Left outer, that's the first one we saw. Right outer, you know, all from the second is matching and matching from the first. So everything that's in the second table will bring it in, and it will bring in only the ones that are matching on the first, you know. Discussing relationships is a whole topic on its own, to be honest, that we need to sit down and look at so that we understand how we are joining and unjoining things together, okay? I'm going to okay this, you know, and it brings it in. It forms a new table, which is called, it's calling merge one. I'll leave it as merge, you know. And it's brought the whole table in. That's what we see here. And the name of the table being Liverpool that I brought in, okay? So, but we see two small arrows pointing opposite directions here, okay? So if we expand that, expanding that helps us to see all of the columns that we are bringing in, all of the columns from Liverpool, basically, okay? So whichever column I'm trying to bring in from Liverpool, I will, you know, bring it in. So say I want to bring in name, amounts, and just the date claimed, okay? Say that's all I need. Then those are the ones I'm going to click, okay? And there's an instruction here. It says use original column name as prefix, okay? If I leave that checked, what it will do is the name of the columns it will give us will be Liverpool dot, you know, Liverpool dot name, Liverpool dot date claimed, Liverpool dot amount, and so on. If I uncheck it, it will just bring name, date claimed, amount, and category. But because we've got name, date claimed, amount here already, just so that we can be able to differentiate which name we are talking about, you know, I'll okay it checked like that, you know, and here we have it, okay? So what happened is it hasn't found, see, Joseph Fisher, see how many Joseph Fishers it has brought. And it hasn't found, because we are bringing names that are in Leeds, so names that are in Liverpool. So Joseph Fisher is not in Leeds, it's in Liverpool. So what it has done here is actually correct. And that's why it was telling us within that step, it was telling us that it found 0. Yeah, it found 0 out of 624, because we are bringing in the names of other people that are in one location to another name, to another, you know, location, okay? So what Power BI has done here is right. I just wanted us to see how merging can happen, how we can match the process of it, okay? So I know it's all no, and that's because it hasn't found anything on Joseph Fisher for Liverpool, because Joseph Fisher is from Leeds originally, okay? So I'm hoping that we get the gist of how to merge. Merge is click the first table that you want, go on to merge, then choose the next table that you want to join them together on. Make sure there is a one column, at least one. You can have more than one actually, that is common between the two. And then bring your table in, and then you carry on doing your work, okay? I believe there is a whole folder that we can use to learn merge properly. I just wanted us to see that today. But yes, that is all we'll have time for today. do we have any questions? Is it clear what we've done today at all?
No, it's very, very clear.